Hey everybody. Couple of things. First, as you may know, we are in the middle of a very severe winter storm and it's extremely cold. Even with the heater, the house is it's survivable. It's like, or was when I got about 7 o'clock this morning, it was 6 degrees outside and it's snowing. So it's extremely cold. And every time I have to send the dogs outside, then cold air gets in the house and then the heater has to work overtime. But because it's so cold, the studio is a little bit difficult for me to work in because I work 5 or 6 minutes and my hands start cramping from the cold. But I wanted to show you, while I'm about it, here is the progress I've made on Theron, on rooting his hair. I've about run out of rooting needles, so I've got to get some more needles to continue rooting his hair. And the other project I'm still working on is this is the blanket for Grandma Maud. And I don't know if I've got enough of this yellow yarn to finish it or not. I may end up having to buy some more yellow yarn because this is that chunky yarn. And most of my other yarn is a lighter weight yarn, and it wouldn't look good to switch to the lighter weight yarn. The other thing, y'all remember Renee Nicole Good was murdered in broad daylight. And I'm not going to call it anything else but murder because I've seen the video, by Jonathan Ross, an ICE agent. Well, it's less than 2 weeks later. There have been several other shootings of people by ICE, and today there was another killing by ICE agents. They shot and killed a man in broad daylight in Minneapolis again. Every day, this country becomes more and more like 1930s and 1940s Nazi Germany. We are living through the American Holocaust. People have died while being detained for deportation. There's been at least one confirmed murder while somebody was being detained to be deported, and he was killed while in the detainment cells. There have been now 2 murders of American citizens by ICE agents in Minneapolis. There were several people in Portland, Oregon that were shot by ICE agents. People walking down the street get tear gas lobbed at them. Little babies have ended up in the hospital from being dosed with tear gas and other chemicals that are being thrown out at people by ICE. Churches used to be a place of sanctuary. Spanish-speaking churches in cities where ICE is making their presence known have almost completely quit holding services, and children are being kept home. One man was told that his 5-year-old son that was being detained by ICE was abandoned by him. The child was not abandoned. Y'all voted for this. You voted for a return to fascism. America was not a fascist country. There have been several times in our history where people have tried to make it a fascist country. But it's not and never was. Now, to be Antifa or anti-fascist is considered a crime. And it's only going to get worse every day as long as Donald Trump is alive, as long as his administration is in power. All of his minions think that they've got immunity, but once he's no longer in power, that immunity will not hold. And while they may have federal immunity, they do not have immunity from the states prosecuting them for the things that they have done. Jonathan Ross, who killed Renee Nicole Good in broad daylight by leaning over her fender and shooting through the windshield into her face. After he had walked around to the front of the car so he could do so, and called her a fucking lesbian bitch. Would not allow the doctors and the paramedics to get to her until she had bled out and died. He thinks that he's got immunity because Trump is saying that the people in ICE can do what they want to do. But Minneapolis and Minnesota, the state, will prosecute him, and he will be tried for the crime of murder. So will the ICE agent that killed a man today. Understand this. There are a bunch of states that are drafting and passing laws that anybody who has served under ICE during Trump's regime can never again serve as any sort of law enforcement in any law enforcement agency in the state. There are consequences. People are going to be held accountable. And while I'm waiting for that to happen, I am going to sit here and I'm going to do my crafting. And I'm going to let y'all live your lives. You don't have to do anything. Karma's going to catch up with everybody. Everybody that voted for Donald Trump and his administration. Y'all fucked around. You're going to find out. And eventually, you will find out that there are consequences. There are consequences. And you will be held accountable. Because keeping silent is the same as agreeing with these horrible atrocities. And I will not keep silent. And I will not associate with and have in my life people that think that what is happening is perfectly okay. Because after all, it's just Donald. Fuck ICE. And fuck Donald Trump. With the goat he rode in on. Because I don't got any use for it. Or anyone who thinks that this is okay. Because it's not. Y'all have a good one. Love y'all. Bye-bye.